Hey everyone, hi, welcome back to my channel. So, what are we doing today? Today I'm going to be talking you through everything I'm planning on reading in July. Okay, so this TBR, this to be read pile, is going to really extend out over July and August because I have a lot of traveling going on in July, and I might get into it. So this is kind of like a July slash probably early August TBR because I'm starting a lot of books near the end of July when my travels are over, and everyone seems to be, all of those buddy reads and plans, everything is quite fluid. So anyways, that was quite the preamble to just say these are my plans and my plans are fluid. Okay, so the first thing that I wanted to talk about is Jane Austen July. So Jane Austen July is hosted, oh, you know what, I should probably say hello. So hello, hi, I'm Shelly. I love books and reading, and I just love everything about books and reading, and I really love talking about my reading, which is why I have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to my love for books and reading and stories. Okay, so let's get started with this TBR. Often in my TBR videos, I like to highlight a single event, and this time I want to highlight Jane Austen July. I am going to be participating in Jane Austen July, and if you have not heard of Jane Austen July, then you are in for a treat. It is a month dedicated to celebrating Jane Austen books. Jane Austen is a regent. She was writing in the Regency period in England, and she wrote 6 main novels and a couple of other shorter works. And the whole point of Jane Austen July is to just get your hands into those Jane Austen works and enjoy them. And so so let me tell you, the hosts of Jane Austen July are Katie from Books and Things, Marissa from Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia at Spinster's Library. These 3 women put on a really incredible readathon. Is this a readathon? It's a readathon. A really incredible readathon. It is at night. I never film at night, so maybe that's something to do with how I'm feeling right now. Anyways, so they have a whole bunch of prompts, and the prompts are wonderful, but this is how I am tackling Jane Austen July this year. I'm keeping everything loosey-goosey, very fluid. My theme for Jane Austen July, my strategy for Jane Austen July is not only to keep it kind of loose, but also to reread. The whole point for me is to either reread or rewatch familiar Jane Austen works to me. And so starting with the first book, which is also part of the group read for the Jane Austen July readathon, and that is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Now, I'm not following the group read schedule. I'm just going to do this on my own, and I have read this before, and I'm really excited to revisit it. So Jane Austen and I will see each other on the page with Pride and Prejudice. The other book that I want to either read or listen to is going to be Lady Susan by Jane Austen. I listened to this last year. I might have read parts of it too. Anyways, it was fabulous, hilarious. I really, really enjoyed it. It is a story of a very snobby and sort of devious Victorian widow, I believe. I think she's widowed, and kind of how she, is trying to make everything work to her benefit. It's great. I really enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to revisit that. And then the movie that I'm considering watching is going to be Sense and Sensibility, the one with Emma Thompson and Kate Winslet. I grew up watching this version, and so revisiting it is almost like coming home for me. There was just a period in my teenage years when I watched this quite a bit, and it will be really nice to revisit, like an old favorite, Okay, so that's my Jane Austen July plans, rather light, rather loose, and I'm excited. And I'm excited about all the Jane Austen content that's going to be coming out. That'll be really interesting. Now, I'm going from like Jane Austen sort of romantic comedies, very buttoned up, very beautifully crafted sentences, to something off the rails. We're going to the thriller genre, okay? And so I'm going to be reading the follow-up of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and I'm going to be reading The Girl Who Played with Fire. And this is by Stieg Larsson. I always have a moment when I'm about to pronounce his name. I'm going to be reading this with my friend and a commenter here on BookTube, both on my channel and at large, Sonja. And so we are going to be reading this together, probably near the end of the month when my vacation family time is over. Oh, the next book. Okay. This book I have been thinking about for quite a while, and I've wanted to read it. And I've actually read something by this author, and I famously said over and over and over that I liked the author, or what the author was doing. I just didn't think the book was for me. And so now I'm trying another book by this author, and that is Possession by A.S. Byatt. I'm going to be reading this with Jack at the Rambling Raconteur, who I actually read my first Byatt with, A Biographer's Tale. I actually did a whole review on that, and I'll leave that linked down below. Spoiler alert, I didn't love the book, but that has more of a bend towards science and taxonomy and things like that, things that are not quite up my alley. And this is going to be all about poetry and Victorian poets and academia and the literature department. And I was like, okay, that sounds like me. So yeah, so I'm really excited to be reading this with Jack at the Rambling Raconteur, and we're going to be reading this with Fraser Simons at the channel Springboard Thought. So the three of us are going to be possessed by possession near the end of the month. So I'm really excited about this. Ooh, okay, the next one is going to be a gamble as to whether I'm going to start it on my vacation or read it on vacation, or if I'm going to read it in the first week in August. And it is a chunky World War II historical fiction. I'm reading this with the Up to No Good Book Club, which is a book club that meets offline, but a lot of us have channels here. And so I'm going to link all of the channels down below and who they are. So in case you want to follow the reviews of this book, you're going to get a lot of different perspectives because likely we will all have something to say about the book. Okay, so getting to the book. It is Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. Again, mostly all I know about it is that it is a chunky historical fiction set in World War II. And that is basically it. So I'm going in blind and I'm okay with that. Okay, wow, so going from like a really kind of chunky, thick, juicy book, right? And we're going to go to a slim little thing. And actually it's going to be a genre that I haven't visited in a while, and that would be poetry. So I was recently gifted from my friend Fraser Simon at the channel Springboard Thought a small slim book of poetry by the brand NYRB, which I don't know a ton about, but I know it has its fans. I know it has its following, and apparently this is a beautifully translated book of a poet that I've never read. So let me get to it. So this is Gold by Rumi, and it's translated by Haleh, Liza, Gatori. Okay, I'm so sorry. I probably really butchered that, but I guess this is a fantastic translation of Rumi, and the actual translation of the popular Rumi books are not actually very well translated, and this is very well translated, or so I am told. So yeah, so very excited about this. I think I'm probably going to take this with me to California and dig in while I'm there. It's just, I don't know, I really have been thinking more about poetry lately and putting my mind in the poetry space. And so I'm excited to kind of dive in again in earnest with Gold by Rumi. Okay. Oh, okay, two more books. One of which I have wanted to read for a while. I heard about this book over a decade ago, probably, from my aunt who really loved it. And then AJ of AJ Dunn Reads and Writes here on BookTube. I'll link their channel below. They love this book, and I'm excited to finally read it. And that is Barbara Kingsolver's The Poisonwood Bible. I'm going to be reading this with Tiffany at Beautiful Minutia. And again, this is one of those loose plans. We both have summer plans, and so whenever we get our bearings back at home, whenever we're feeling ready for it, in July, we're going to meet Barbara Kingsolver on the page. So I've heard really good things about it. Again, kind of like with Beneath the Scarlet Sky, it's one of those books that gets highly well reviewed. What is it? Gets well reviewed. It's well received, and yet I don't really actually know what it's about. Anyways, I'm excited. Can you tell? I'm like, there are all the books, and I'm not really exactly sure what they're about, but I'm going to read them, and I will figure it out, and I will report back. The final book is going to be another small group read with AJ of AJ Dunn Reads and Writes and Jolene from Bookworm Adventure Girl, and I'm going to be reading Piranesi by Suzanna Clark. This won the Women's Prize a couple of years ago, and I don't know, I bought this kind of recently. I heard it's a great read. I heard it's one of those reads that you can finish in a single day, and we're all relatively fast readers, and so I am kind of expecting to finish this in a single day. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. I'm excited about all of my reads. Here they all are. And okay, so what are you planning on reading in July? Are you participating in Jane Austen July? I would really love to know. And that's it from me. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.